So, in the first video of our English grammar series, we saw that an English sentence is made up of a lot of parts of speech like nouns, pronouns, adverbs, adjectives, prepositions, conjunctions. But we saw that mainly our English sentence is divided into two parts, a subject and a predicate. A subject is the naming part, it is basically a noun. And what is a subject? A subject is around the whole sentence revolves. Like Rohan Patel sat in the waiting lounge. So the whole topic was about Rohan Patel. So Rohan Patel is a noun and it is our subject. But what was our predicate? Sat in the lounge. Sat is a verb and lounge is our object. So we further divided our predicate into verb plus object. Verb is something that the subject is doing some action and object is receiving that action, right? So in the previous video, we saw this. But now in an English sentence, it's not quite simple to divide easily into subject, verb, and object. There are sentences that can be made without an object. There are sentences that can be made with more than one object, right? So our objects are further divided into three roles: the direct object of a verb, the indirect object of a verb, and the object of a preposition. It is also called as prepositional phrase. We are in a very detailed manner going to see the description of all these three types of objects: the direct object of a verb, indirect object of a verb, and the object of a preposition, which is also called as prepositional phrase. So let's proceed further. But before proceeding further, let me tell you why are we doing this. We are doing this to understand the sentence very clearly, to divide our sentence properly into subject and predicate, or let us say to clearly divide into subject, verb, and object. And if there is an object part, we should be clearly understanding whether it is a direct object of a verb, whether it is an indirect object of a verb, or the object of a preposition, which is also called as prepositional phrase. So don't worry if you are still confused. We are going to see a hell lot of examples for each of these three grammatical objects which we have listed over here. So first in the series is our direct objects, right? So let us start. What are direct objects? In English grammar, direct objects are what receive the action of the verb in a sentence or a clause. It directly receives the action of a verb. For example, let us go through our first statement. The cat catches a mouse. Now we all know the whole sentence revolves around cat. So cat is our subject. What is cat doing? What action a cat is doing? Cat is catching. So catch is our verb. Catches is our verb. And again, mouse is a noun. We have seen the name, place, animal or thing. Mouse is an animal. So here, the noun mouse is receiving the action of the verb catch. Hence, our mouse is a direct object. It is directly receiving the action of the verb catch. That's why it is a direct object. In case you didn't understand, let us go to our second statement. Suzanne reads a book every week. Now, we all know that our whole statement revolves around Suzanne. She is the person whom we are talking about. So, Suzanne is our subject. We are talking about Suzanne's. Subject is the naming part, right? A noun. And here, our main noun is Suzanne. What is Suzanne doing? What action she is doing? What is the verb? Reads, right? So reads is our verb. She is reading something. She is reading a book, right? So book is a noun because we saw what is a noun? Name, place, animal, thing. This is a thing. Book is a thing. So noun book is receiving the action of the verb read. So this book is a direct object. So finding out direct objects, guys, is not that difficult. It's very, very easy. You just have to divide a statement into three parts: a subject, a predicate, and a verb. And you'll be easily able to find out whether it is a direct object, whether it is an indirect object. In case you have still not understand, there is no need to worry. We are still going to proceed further. So let's move further. Let's see two more examples. What we saw direct objects are what receives the action of a verb in a sentence or a clause. Basically, we'll be talking about sentences, not clauses. So let's see. Rahul writes a letter every day. First, let us find out the subject. Obviously, the whole sentence is revolving around Rahul, right? It is Rahul that we are talking about. So, Rahul is going to be our subject. What action Rahul is doing? What is he doing? He is writing. Rahul writes. So, write is a verb. And letter is another noun. Name, place, animal, thing. Noun is name, place, animal, thing. And letter is a thing, right? So letter is a noun. And this noun letter is receiving the action of the verb write. Hence, our direct object is letter in this sentence. I hope you understood. Let us still go to one more statement for better understanding. The dog chased its tail. Now, what is this whole statement or a sentence revolving around? What is the main character in this statement? It is our dog, right? So, dog is our subject. We are talking about the dog doing. What is our dog doing? What action is our dog doing? He's chasing. So, chased is a noun. Sorry, chased is a verb. This is the action that our dog is doing. Chased. And another noun, name, place, animal, thing. It is a tail of an animal dog. So this is our noun. And it is our direct object because tail is receiving the action of the verb, right? Chase. Tail is receiving the action of the verb chase. Hence, our tail is direct object. So see guys, finding out direct object is very, very easy. It's not at all that difficult. So if you have understood direct objects, the second in our series was indirect objects, right? There were three grammatical rules: direct objects, indirect objects, and objects of preposition, which are also called as prepositional phrase. So let us see some examples about indirect objects. In fact, a hell lot of examples I'm going to put in forward, so you'll be able to understand the differentiation between direct objects, indirect objects, and prepositional phrase, right? So let's proceed with our direct objects. What are direct objects? Oh, sorry, indirect objects. What are indirect objects? Indirect objects is a person or a thing who is the object of the verb. See, let us compare this definition with our definition of direct object. What was the definition of direct object? The definition said that direct object receives the action of a verb, but indirect object is a person or a thing who receives the direct object of the verb, right? So you can, in a very easy manner, say that indirectly it is receiving the direct object of a verb. Let us try to understand with a very simple example. I sent the company an application for the job. See, I'm stressing on the verb I. I sent the company an application for the job. So here I is the whole sentence revolving around. The whole statement or sentence is revolving around I. So I is our subject. Sent the company an application for the job. What am I doing? I'm sending. Sent is a verb, right? What action I am doing? I'm sending. So sent, it is a past tense. Sent is the verb. What am I sending? I'm sending an application. So guys, application is our direct object. What am I doing? I'm sending application. And to whom I'm sending? I'm sending it to the company. Again, you can see company is a noun. It is a thing, right? So the company is an indirect object that is receiving the direct object application, which receives the action of the verb sent, right? So you can say that the sentences which have indirect objects, they are a little bit exaggerated to give more information, right? I sent an application would be a very simple, let me write here. I sent an application. If this was a sentence, right, then it would be very easy for you to find out that I is a subject, sent is a verb, and application is a direct object. But if we look at this statement, I sent the company, here, I sent the company an application for the job. So I'm exaggerating the whole sentence to give you more information about the whole topic, which is revolving around I. So again, finding indirect objects is very easy. You should first find out what is the subject. Next, you should find out verb. Then you should find out direct object. Then you should find out indirect, right? It's very easy. Let's proceed with one more example to give you a crystal clear idea about indirect objects. He sent his friend an email. He, I'm stressing on the word he. So obviously the whole sentence or this whole statement is revolving around he. So he is our subject. Just few minutes back, I told you that what is going to be our method of finding indirect objects. First, find out what is the subject. Next, find out what is the verb. Then find out what is the direct object which is receiving the action of the verb. And then in the end, find out what is the indirect object receiving the direct object which receives the action of the verb, right? So in this statement, very clearly, he is our subject. Now let us find out, we have done this part, we have found out the subject. Second thing we have to do is that we have to find out verb. Sent. He is doing an action. What action he is doing? He's sending. He sent. So sent is a verb. What is he sending? That you have to find out. We have to find out the direct object. What is he sending? He's sending an email. So email is noun. It is a thing, right? So email is our direct object. Because what is direct object? We saw direct object receives the action of the verb sent. Direct object receives the action of the verb sent. Now, only thing remaining in this sentence is friend, right? So, friend again is a noun. It is a common noun. Name, place, animal, thing is a noun. So here name is friend, common noun. So friend is indirect object. Why? Because it is receiving the direct object, email, which receives again the action of the verb sent. The direct object is receiving the action of the verb sent. So I hope you very easily understood how to find out indirect objects. Very easy. This is the method. First find out subject, then find out verb, then find out direct objects, and in the end you can find out indirect objects. Hope it's very clear for you to understand what the indirect objects are. But in case you have still not understood, we'll still keep practicing till the whole concept of indirect objects is very, very clearly understood by you, right? So let's proceed to our next example. Please pass Rishabh the salt. Now, what is our whole statement revolving around? It's not please. Please don't get confused. Please is not a noun, right? Sentence is revolving around please pass Rishabh the salt. Here, we are talking to someone that you please pass Rishabh the salt. So here, our subject is someone to whom we are talking. You please pass Rishabh the salt. So there is some person whom we are talking about, and he or she is our subject. Please is a request that we are doing. And what action is being done? Verb. Passing. We have to pass something. So pass is our verb. What we have to pass? That is our direct object. We have to pass salt, right? So salt is our direct object, which is receiving the action of this verb, pass, right? So salt is our direct object. And to whom we have to pass the salt? We have to pass it to Rishabh. So Rishabh is our indirect object. You saw Rishabh is a proper noun, it's a name. And he is receiving this direct object salt. We have to pass the salt. To pass is the verb, right? So to rectify, find out, subject, verb, direct object, and indirect object. So I'm very slowly moving towards difficult sentences so that you can very clearly understand the whole concept of indirect objects. So we saw indirect object is again just like our direct object, a person or a thing. Indirect object is person or a thing who is receiving the direct object of the. So here, let us find out in another sentence, what is the subject, what is the verb, what is our direct object, and what is our indirect object. Like I said, first thing you should do is that you should find out what is the subject. Next thing you should do, find out what is verb. Third thing you should do, find out direct object. Fourth thing you should do is find out indirect objects. She gave her sister a gift. The whole statement is revolving around she. So she is our first thing, subject. It's a noun. She is a common noun. So she gave her sister a gift. What is the action that she is doing? What is the action our subject is doing? What is the action our subject is performing? She is giving. So gave is the verb, past form of give. So our verb is gave. Her sister a gift. What did she give? She gave a gift. So gift is our direct object. And to whom this direct object was given? It was given to the sister. So sister is our indirect object. You can see sister is a common noun, right? Sister is a common noun. It is an indirect object that is receiving our direct object gift. And gift is receiving the action of the verb gave. So hopefully now it's very, very clear to find out subject, verb, direct object, and indirect object. Now, we have done a lot of examples on direct objects, indirect objects. Now, let us go to our third grammatical object, which is objects of preposition, or it is also called as prepositional phrase. It is also called as prepositional phrase. Very quickly, we saw direct objects first, then we saw indirect objects. Now we are going to objects of preposition, or called as prepositional phrase. Let's move ahead. Now, nouns are also used after preposition to create prepositional phrases or objects of preposition. So when a noun is a part of prepositional phrase, very clearly understand the sentence. When a noun is a part of prepositional phrase, it is known as objects of the preposition. Don't worry if you have not understood. There's no need to worry. We are going to do it with a lot of examples, which will give you a very clear cut idea about objects of preposition or prepositional phrase. Nouns are also used after prepositions to create prepositional phrase. Now, here, let us see an example. The hotel room had a beautiful view of the ocean. Now, if you see here, the hotel room had a beautiful view of the ocean. So, what is our subject over here? It is the hotel room. This is our subject. What is the verb that is being performed by the subject had? hotel room had. It had something, right? It had a beautiful view. So, hotel room had a of the ocean. So, here, what is the preposition? Of is the preposition, right? So, here, ocean is the object of preposition of, creating the prepositional phrase of the ocean. Beautiful view of the ocean. So, of the ocean is our prepositional phrase. Let's move to one more statement to give you a very good idea about objects of preposition. I am looking for work. I. What is the subject? I. What is the verb? Am. I is subject. Am is verb. Now, here you can see work is a noun. We are going to work. The noun work is the object of preposition for. What is the preposition here? For. On, of, for. These are prepositions, right? So the noun work is the object of preposition for, which creates the prepositional phrase work. So what is our object of preposition or prepositional phrase? Work. I is the subject. Am looking. What is I performing an action? What is doing? Performing action called looking. I am looking. For is our preposition. So our prepositional phrase or object of preposition is verb. Work. Right? Let's move to one more example, which will give you a crystal clear idea about objects of preposition or prepositional phrase. Your backpack is under the table. Your backpack. What is the whole statement revolving around? Your backpack is under. What is the preposition? Where is the backpack? It is whether it is on the table, under the table, above the table, below the table. Under is the preposition, right? So your backpack is under the table. Now, what is the noun which is related to the preposition? It is table, right? So the table is our object of preposition or prepositional phrase. The noun table is the object of preposition under. What is our preposition? Under. So the noun table is the object of preposition under, which creates the prepositional phrase under the table. Table. It's not over the table, above the table. It's under the table. So rectifying objects of preposition or prepositional phrase is also very, very easy. Moving ahead, let's go to one more example. The keys are hidden behind the door. Carefully look at this statement. Now, in case you have understood very clearly, the first moment you'll be able to say that behind the door is our prepositional phrase. Why? Because what is the preposition? Behind is the preposition. What is the noun which is related to this preposition? The noun is this door, right? So what does the prepositional phrase have? It has a preposition and a noun. So Preposition is behind. Door is noun. The keys are hidden. What is the subject? Keys. The keys are hidden. Are hidden. What is the action that the keys are performing? They are hidden. So are hidden is our verb. Behind the door. The preposition is behind. It's not above the door, under the door, above, below the door. It is behind the door. So preposition is behind. And the door is noun. So behind the door is our prepositional phrase. Hope you have understood with so many examples and regarding objects of preposition. So let us see very clearly. Let us revise all the three grammatical objects: direct objects, indirect objects, and objects of preposition or prepositional phrase. Now I'm mixing all the sentences so you can differentiate between all the three objects: direct, indirect, and object of preposition. Let us go to our next statement. The teacher graded the papers. What is the whole statement revolving around? It's revolving around teacher. So our teacher is the subject. What action she is performing? What is the verb? Graded. Graded is the verb. And what is she grading? She is grading the papers. Noun. And which is our direct object. So the direct object papers is receiving the action of the verb graded. So this sentence was about the direct objects. Please pass me the salt. So here we are telling someone, you please pass me the salt. So you is our subject. What is the action that has to be done? Passing. Verb. We have to pass. We have to pass the salt. So salt is our direct object. And to whom we have to pass the salt? We have to pass it to me. So me is our indirect object. So the indirect object is me, that is receiving the direct object salt, which receives the action of the verb pass. Very, very easy to find out whether it is a direct object, whether it is an indirect object, or it is an object of preposition. Let's move to one more statement. The book is on the table. Now, very clearly, the whole statement revolves around book. So this is our subject. What is our verb? Is. What is the action that the book is performing? It is somewhere. It is stable at somewhere. So it is placed at somewhere. So verb is. And whether it is under the table, above the table, below the table, on the table, on. This is our preposition. On is our preposition. What is the noun in this prepositional phrase? Table. Table is a noun. So on the table is our prepositional phrase. So the prepositional phrase on the table. Preposition on shows the location of the book and it is on the table. So table is our object of preposition. And the whole on the table is our prepositional phrase. Statement. Let us go to our next statement. She gave her brother a gift. She, we are talking about someone, and that is the main character of our statement. She, so that is our subject. She gave. What is she doing? What action she is performing? She is giving. So gave is our verb. What did she give? She gave a gift. So gift is our direct object. And to whom the gift was given? To a brother. Brother is our indirect object. So our indirect object, brother, is receiving the direct object, gift. And what is the action? Verb, gave. So, my dear friends, it's very, very easy to find out the objects. Let us further practice few more sentences. She ate a sandwich. She, main character of the statement. She, noun, naming part. That is our subject. Ate a sandwich. What is she doing? What action she's performing? She's eating. Ate is the past tense of eat. So she's eating. This is our verb. The action that she's performing is ate. She's eating a sandwich. What is she eating? She's eating sandwich. Simple. Sandwich is our noun. That is something that she's eating. And that's why it is our direct object. So the direct object sandwich is of the verb ate. Let's proceed to next statement. He sent his friend an email. He. The whole statement is revolving around, the whole sentence is revolving around our subject, he. What is the action that he's performing? He's sending something. He's sending an email. So the action that is performed is sent. What did he send? He sent email. This is our direct object. And to whom the email was sent? It was sent to a friend. So our friend is an indirect object. Moving ahead. She was waiting at the bus stop. She, whom we are talking about? We are talking about some lady or a girl, a female. The whole sentence is revolving around a name, a noun, a naming part, a subject. So this is our subject. What action the person is doing? She is waiting. This is an action that she is doing. She is waiting. That is our verb. Where is she waiting? At the bus stop. At is our preposition. The bus stop. Bus stop is the noun. So our prepositional phrase is at the bus stop. At is preposition. The preposition at shows the location where she is waiting, our object of preposition. Hopefully, you've got this. It's that very easy to find out all three objects. Let's go to another statement. He bought a new phone. The whole sentence is based on a person, main character, main noun, common noun, he. What the action is performing, he's buying something. Bought is the past tense of buy. Bought. What did he buy? A phone. Direct object. Direct object phone is receiving action of the verb bought. So hopefully, guys, you have understood all the three objects. Moving ahead to give you still more crystal clear idea. We are performing so many sentences. We are breaking down so many sentences into subject and predicate, or say subject, verb, and object, or say subject, verb, direct object, indirect object, or say subject, verb, and object of preposition. Now here, the hotel room had a beautiful view of the ocean. We are talking about, what is the subject? Hotel room. What action the hotel room has? Had a beautiful view. Had. Preposition of the ocean. Hotel room had beautiful view of. So of is showing us the relationship between view and the ocean. So of is our preposition. Ocean is our object of preposition. Object of preposition, or it is our noun. Hence, of the ocean is our prepositional phrase. The prepositional phrase of the ocean, preposition is of, which shows the relationship between the view and the ocean. So the ocean is the object of the preposition. See, I've mentioned every detail, minute detail. So you could read it and very clearly differentiate what is the subject, what is the verb and object of preposition or the prepositional phrase. The teacher handed the student a worksheet. Who is the main character of this statement? Teacher, subject. And the teacher means we are talking about a particular teacher. The sentence could be a teacher handed the student a worksheet. So a means any teacher we were talking about. But since we are talking about the teacher, so particular teacher we are talking about. Teacher is our subject. What action she is performing? She is handing over something. Verb. Handed is the past tense of hand. So she's handing over. What is she handing over? She's handing over the worksheet. So this is our direct object, which is receiving the action of the verb handed. And to whom she's handing over the worksheet, to whom she handed over the worksheet, she handed over to a student. So our student is our indirect object. So the indirect object is student, which is receiving the direct object worksheet, and worksheet is receiving the action of the verb handed. It's very, very easy. I hope till now we have done practice of so many statements. Hell lot of statements we have gone through, which would give you crystal clear idea about our three objects: direct objects, indirect objects, and objects of preposition. Still, we have many, many statements to give you idea about all three grammatical objects. The keys. What is the main statement that is revolving around? What is the main character that our statement is revolving around? It is revolving around keys. So keys is our subject, naming part. It is a thing. Key is a thing. And you know, noun is what? A name, place, animal, or thing. So key is a thing. Keys are hidden. What is the verb? What is the action that the keys are performing? They are hidden. Hidden is our verb. Where are they hidden? Behind the door. So noun. Object are preposition. Object of preposition. Noun. Object of preposition. Behind the door. It's not above the door, under the door, below the door. It is behind the door. So behind is our preposition. Door is the noun. And that's why this whole behind the door phrase. So the prepositional phrase behind the door, the preposition is behind, which shows the location where the keys are hidden. And the door is the object of preposition. Very, very easy. Let's proceed very quickly to our next sentence. The dog chased the ball. Who's the main character? The dog is the main character that we are talking about. It is our subject. What action the dog is performing? Chasing. It chased. Past tense. It chased. It finished the action of chasing. Chased is the verb. And whom did it chase? It chased the ball. Direct object. So, very quickly, moving ahead, the new restaurant, subject. New restaurant is located. What the action is the new restaurant performing? It is placed somewhere. It is located somewhere. Verb is located. Where is it located? Near some park. Park is our object. It's our noun. Object of preposition. And what is our preposition? Near. It's not on the park, below the park, above the park. It is near the park. So near is our preposition. So near the park is our prepositional phrase. Remember, a prepositional phrase has a preposition and a noun. So prepositional phrase is near the park. So the prepositional phrase near, preposition is near, shows the location of the restaurant in relation to the park. So the park is our object of preposition. You'll have to find out what is the relationship of the verb and the object of preposition. And that relationship is shown with the preposition. They donated the charity of a large sum of money. They donated the charity a large sum of money. They, we are talking about few people, a bunch of people. They. What action did they perform? Donated. Verb. Action verb. What donation was given? Large sum of money. Direct object. And to whom? To a charity. Indirect object. So our indirect object is charity, receiving the direct object large sum of money, which receives the action of the verb donated. We have performed n number of examples to give you idea. Hope it was clear. Thank you so much.